Welcome to the Mommy Collective. I'm Paulina Rowe, radio host, TV contributor, writer, and mom of one. This is where ambitious moms come to keep their identity intact while navigating motherhood. Here we talk about the real stuff: career, money, relationships, identity, and everything that gets messy in between. You won't find sugarcoating or cliches. What you will find are unfiltered conversations, real resources, and proof that you don't have to lose yourself to be a good mom. The Mommy Collective is here to remind you can be ambitious, you can take up space, and you can thrive in motherhood and in everything else that makes you, you. Before we get into the episode, make sure you're following the Mommy Collective on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and share this podcast with a mommy in your life who needs a little inspiration or just a reminder that she's killing it. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and leave us a review so we can keep showing up and reach every ambitious mom out there doing big things. Let's get into it. It is the Mommy Collective, Paulina here, and I am so excited for my guest today. I have the one and only Brooke Taylor joining me. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to see your face. I miss you.
I miss you. Oh my God, we've been separated for a hot minute, but I feel like we're still media sisters one way or another, which is
Absolutely
awesome. I love your growth. I love everything that you've accomplished in the past, 6 years? You left Chicago,
Yeah.
I'd say 6
It's
years
been
more?
6 years now, which is crazy.
That is so crazy. A lot has happened. Mom of, 2 and now almost 3. Congratulations.
Almost 3. Yes, I know. It's crazy. And then you too, it's just funny, working together as single women and then watching this progress of getting married and then having babies. It's been so cool to just watch from afar.
I love it. No, it has been. It's just so amazing. So Brooke Taylor, podcast host, country radio host, former personality here in Chicago as well. And that's kind of how we met, was being here. I'm from Chicago. I'm still here. And you're right by Nashville, you said, right? You're a little north.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. You're doing it all. So content creator, you truly have done it all. And you're continuing to not only grow your family, but grow your presence, whether it's on air, on social. You're very inspirational, first and foremost.
Thank you.
I don't know how the hell you do that all. I really don't.
Girl, I don't know how I do it either. So
That's so real. No, it's so real. Brooke, thank you for coming on the pod today. I'm very, very excited to have you on. Definitely want to kind of talk to you about, obviously your career, sort of your trajectory, kind of how we got here. And then, of course, being a mom now too, and kind of what that kind of means for you. And I know you're super open to about your faith and God. And I do go to your page for that kind of inspiration when I'm that's what I need to hear. I do that. Yeah, because I feel sometimes I don't know, I need to hear someone else kind of say a good word, that I'm going to think about later, marinate on, or sometimes I just need to hear some words of encouragement. And I think that's really cool that we have social to kind of look for that if that's what we need, right? So your page is one of them that I tend to run to. So I love it. So you've worked in media obviously for years. From my understanding too, you started Disney Channel. I believe you lived in LA as well, right? You were in Los Angeles. So I know that you've pretty much covered it all. And for those who don't know, radio, Disney and Disney, it's a little different than what you're doing today as far as the music genre and everything. So what's something about the industry that people might assume is glamorous that actually might be really difficult that you found?
Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because when I lived in LA and I was working at Radio Disney, it was the coolest job ever because we got to be on red carpets all the time. And working in radio, that's something that is very few and far between. You'll be on a red carpet maybe once or twice in your career if you get to go to something cool. But at Radio Disney, we were there every weekend. At the El Capitan Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, there was always a movie premiere every single weekend, and we were there on the red carpet. Red carpets are the worst. They are not glamorous. You see the celebrities walk and get their picture taken and they're doing interviews. And then on this side of the little rope, we're fighting for our lives trying to get somebody to talk to us. So it's you're standing there for 8 hours. People are wandering through, and then you're maybe I'll get a chance to talk to somebody that is in this movie, or maybe I'll get a chance to talk to somebody that people will know. But it's so funny because walking red carpets is this big glamorous thing. But when you're in it on the other side of it, you're this is not as glamorous as people think.
Oh, 100%. And I'm sure too, I mean, back then, I don't think we used like Instagram as much, or like TikTok obviously wasn't around. So I
Hmm.
feel like right now at this day and age, people are really, really good. It's just true, right? At making things look more glamorous. So I'm sure if at that time you had posted on social, TikTok, or whatever, oh my God, I'd be like, this is to die for. But you're like fighting for
Yes.
your life on the
You're
other
screaming
side.
at people like, please come talk to me. And they're like, sorry, I gotta go. And they're like running inside because they're about to be late. And it's just funny how it looks so glamorous on TV or like on social media or on the live stream that people are on. But it is one of the most unglamorous things I think that people go through.
100%. And how
Yeah.
did we get to Disney, Radio Disney? Because I know you're from Florida, I believe. Did I get that right?
So my whole like career started in Florida. I went to college
Nice.
at a small school in South Carolina where I played volleyball on a scholarship. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I just kind of was like an athlete, and that's where I thought I was going to go. I thought I was going to be like an athletic trainer or just something, a volleyball coach or something in that sort of realm. And then I took my first anatomy class in college and I was like, this is not for me. I am not smart enough for this career. Like, I do not enjoy learning. I just love to speak in front of people. So I started at my college radio station. And after that, I graduated school and moved to Florida where my family is. And we just found a local radio station and they were hiring for a night DJ. And my dad was like, you got to go out for this job. And I was just like, do people do radio for a living? Like, I remember I grew up in like Northern Virginia area. And I remember listening to Hot 99.5 in DC, which
Yeah.
is like one of the biggest top 40 stations over there anyways. And I just remember this morning show and I remember like listening to the radio, but I didn't ever think that was like a job. So then graduating college and going to this radio station with my little undone resume, I was like, there's nothing on here that you're going to see that is valuable, but like, I'm willing to learn if you'll teach me kind of thing. And the office manager there in Florida, she like loved me and she was like, okay, we'll call you. And she asked me to start 2 weeks later. And at that station in Florida, they literally taught me everything I know about radio and like how to be on air and how to produce commercials and how to just like do all of the like behind the scenes radio stuff. And that's just like where my career began. So I was in Florida for 2 years, moved to
Nice.
Fort Wayne, Indiana for 2 years. And then I was out in LA for almost 3 years and then came over to Chicago and then now down in Nashville. So I've just kind of like lived everywhere for I guess, I don't know. I've been in radio since 2011. So however many years that is. It's been a while, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a minute, but that's awesome. That is such a cool like career route, a trajectory for sure. You know, like I said, you get to experience like different cities, right? Different types of music, the red carpets, you know, all those
Yeah.
moments that you mentioned. Like, I think that's awesome. So, what do you think is maybe the biggest lesson that you've learned about confidence, I'd say? Because I feel like you are an extremely confident woman, you know, especially when it's like in front of the mic, and you kind of do need that, right? When you do what we do, but camera, right? When you do anything, whether it was television or if you do like a video on Instagram, what's the biggest lesson that you think you've learned about confidence, like from working in front of the microphone or in front of a camera?
I think it's just the fact that like what you see on camera from other people isn't always the truth. And I think it really like made me working in the industry for so long and being around so many other people. I'm like, I know that that girl is so sad right now, but she looks so good on Instagram. You know what I mean? It's this like weird balance of like shoving down your emotions and playing a part and then like actually being a human on the other side of it. I think where the confidence started for me was realizing that you don't have to fake it. Like, I'm not afraid to cry on my radio show. I'm not afraid to post on Instagram without my makeup on. I'm not afraid to say, like, I'm having a hard day today. Like, can y'all pray for me? Even though I'm usually the one trying to encourage other people. And I think that confidence shift happened when I was just like, I don't want to be the place where people come to say like, oh, she's got this beautiful, perfect life and I wish I could be her. And like, I want everything to be perfect like her. I want everybody to know that nobody's life is perfect. Behind my camera, like this looks all nice and pretty, but if I scan the camera over here, there's 2 bags of trash on the floor from me cleaning my dirty office today. Like, it's just what you see is never the full picture. So I think the confidence came when I realized that I don't have to like shove down my emotions. I'm allowed to be me when, whether that's a sad me, whether that's a happy me, whether that's an emotional, hormonal, pregnant me, like it doesn't matter because everybody's going through something. So I think that confidence really started probably, I would say that probably within the last like 4 or 5 years. I really learned that you can be you online or on my radio show or even, wherever in person. Like, you don't have to like shove your feelings down. You're allowed to be a human being. And realizing that, especially in the media, you're expected to kind of be a robot. Like, you need to be happy all the time. You have to do this. And it's like, you probably have experienced too, where like you're in the studio recording your radio show and it's just like, yeah, you're on the microphone, you're having a good time doing your break. And then the microphones turn off and you're crying in your cereal because you're 100%. Having a bad day. It's like, it's such a weird balance of emotions, and like learning that you're allowed to just be you and you're allowed to, I don't know, feel those emotions, I think is where my confidence really started. Just not shoving it down and just being, if I'm having a really sad day, I'm going to have a sad day and everybody's going to come along the journey with me because we're all human.
Authenticity always wins. I love it. Yep. I think that is so real. I know I had to get a little more comfortable with that and really like kind of step into my confident era, because I feel like I didn't, especially, I'm going to be so honest, like when I was like postpartum or just like at like my highest weight, I was like, I don't even want to post a video. I was just so like self-conscious of everything. I don't know. It was just like not, like, I didn't feel good about it. Even like when I would talk, I'm like, oh my God, like this isn't like me. And maybe it was just my own things that I was going through. But I feel like once I sort of stepped into like my authentic self, right? Like you said, like into that confident side of me, whether like you said, it was a good day, a bad day, whatever it was, I've noticed like people resonated really very much so with it. And then I also just felt like, I don't know, I just felt better. I'm my best when I'm truly authentic, Yeah,
that's just it. And especially touching on postpartum, having my first, I was like, it rocks your world. It's the comparison thing that we do on social media or even just like with people in your life. You're like, well, she bounced back. She's tiny again. What is wrong with me? But realizing that's not the case for so many people. And it's just like allowing yourself to figure it out. And then when you do figure it out, you're like, okay, that wasn't that bad. But like going through it, you're like this, I'm alone. Seriously. And so, yeah, I mean, that postpartum stuff is hard, but I also think not living there, like realizing that you're going to get through it is the mindset you have to have, because if you try and just live in it, you're like, you feel stuck.
100%. So speaking of the kiddos, I kind of wanted to talk about the motherhood journey that you've been through, that you're currently going through right now. You are, having your third, and I'm so excited for you. So you have two girls, right? Of course.
Two little girls.
Two girls. And then did you say if you're having a girl or boy? I can't remember.
We haven't yet, but we're having another girl. It's baby girl number 3.
Yay! Oh my gosh. How do you feel about that? Did you honestly, did you want another girl, or were you kind of aiming for a boy, or you were like,
you know what? It's so funny because it's just like, yeah, it's in God's hands. But like my husband and I were like convinced that this was a boy. My pregnancy this time around has been so different. So like when we saw pink, we were like, what? But obviously very, very happy. But there was that like inkling of like, oh, I really wanted a little boy, like to see what it's like. But I love being a girl mom. So like, I'm really excited because being a girl mom I'm just like good at it. I don't know. I always thought I would have little boys whenever I thought of having babies. And then these little girls like just changed my life. So I'm happy either way. But there was a little bit of disappointment when we saw the pink, when we cut open the cake. I was like,
Oh, and you know what? That's real though. Like, to be honest, I probably won't have any more. I can't decide, but I'm more leaning probably it won't. But I know that if I do have another one, it's like, okay, I would like a boy, right? And then if I don't end up with that, then I'm like, okay, like, is it fine to feel disappointed? But I feel like that conversation's becoming a little more normalized now, and I think it's okay to feel that. I used to be like, no, don't you ever feel that. You're crazy. That's insane. But now I'm like, no, I think that's quite normal. It's
totally normal. Yeah. And if people say that they're not disappointed, or like if you wanted something and you didn't get it, it's part of life. You're going to be upset. And it's not like upset of like, oh, I don't want this baby now. It's just like oh, that would have been cool to have a little boy, but it's okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, that disappointment thing is real, but I think sometimes people take it too like literally. They're like, you're not thankful and grateful that you have a healthy baby in your stomach. And I'm like, it's quite literally the opposite. I'm very happy and very excited, but you can have that little, human moment. You're allowed that.
100%. So what do you feel about motherhood that kind of surprised you, right? Like when you went from 0 to first baby, what kind of shocked you? What rocked your world the most?
I feel like how quick I had to go back to work is what shocked me the most. I
Was that by
think,
choice, or was it like you want to go back to work at a certain time? Like I did. I hands up, like I did. I was like
yeah,
6 weeks, and I called her. I'm like, can I come back? I'm so
that
mad.
is
I'm so
so
mad.
funny. So with
I
my
know.
first, my company didn't offer paid maternity leave with my first. So I
Okay.
only got 8 weeks off. So it was 6 weeks for a natural birth. And then if I had a C-section, it was 8 weeks. And we ended up having a C-section with my first. So I got 8 weeks off. And like that 8 weeks goes by so fast. And for me, so I know a lot of people are very weird. Like you either love the newborn stage or it's really, really tough. I love the newborn stage. I love a little squish. I will just snuggle and like hang out with you the whole time. I'm cool getting up in the middle of the night. Like we had friends offer like, let us come over and let you sleep. And I'm like, I'm good. Like this is my like Super Bowl. I love the newborn stage. And so like getting back, having an 8 week old and going back to work was the craziest just spiral of emotions because one, in our industry, you have to go back and like play a part, right? Like you're on air, you're online, you've got to post content, you've got to be in a good mood, and you're all these things. And I'm like sitting in this radio studio with my like breast pumps on and just like,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
just like pumping. And I was like, this is worse. Like I hate this so much. And it's funny because having my first, I feel like my whole life, my world revolved around my career. Like I broke up relationships because I wanted to move for my career. And it was just like relationships and friendships didn't matter. It was like, where is my job going to take me next? I'm going to take that over anything else. And once I had my kids, I'm just like, if this job was taken from me tomorrow, I would be okay. Because your priority, my priorities at least, it just shifted so much to where I'm like, I love being a mom so much that like if I didn't have this tomorrow, like I would be fine because my kids are my everything. If I could have 8 babies, I would. I love kids so much. So I don't know. I feel like the shocking thing to me was how much my priorities shifted and how much I used to be focused on work just kind of like took a back seat in the weirdest way. Not in a bad way, but like I mean, I guess kind of a good way.
I can agree 100%. Not only have I like set more boundaries, whether it's in life or work or whatever, I always say like I know that no matter what happens, like you said, if this all disappeared tomorrow, like I would be okay. And I don't know, maybe it is from the fulfillment of being a mom, or
Mhm.
what I think that what it could be, Brooke, for you too, is that you at the end of the day, like you have the hustle, the drive, the everything. Like I feel like you would figure it out, whether it's like you
Right.
stayed in media or you didn't. I still
Mhm.
feel like you'd figure it out. And not even just like for the financial part, which obviously is very, very important when you have a family, but it's also like just the fulfillment part, like you're a creative person. And I feel like
Mhm.
people like us, like we will always be fulfilled. Like motherhood fills the cup. And if there were
Yeah.
other things that we wanted, we would fill our cups too. Like, again, we have the ambition, the drive, like we know. And plus, being in our industry, for those people who are listening who don't know, like it can go away tomorrow, and that's just real. It's always
Yeah.
been like that historically. So I
Hmm.
feel like we're just always on ready regardless, where it's just like, okay, like no problem, we'll find the next thing, whatever that is. So
Right.
like I don't even worry about Brooke Taylor for a second, because you're right, like I feel so fulfilled in motherhood too, where it's just almost like you can't, like, you can't get me because I'm just
No,
very
yeah,
content and happy.
exactly. Yeah, totally.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so now talk about the transition from one to two. I see a lot of memes about it. I've seen people talk about it on TikTok. What was your experience like?
I feel like I thought it was going to be way harder than it is. Like
Okay.
you think, like I remember before we had our second, my husband and I, like when I was pregnant, we were talking about like how are we supposed to love another kid more than we love, or even like as much as we love Emma, our first. So I was just like, how is my heart going to grow big enough to be able to like love both of them this much? And you do see everything on social media where it's like, it's chaos or it's just like so tough because you don't have enough time for the first. And then you're trying to take time for the second. There's not enough time during the day to like give them both as much attention. And I think it's just like, it's all scary, but like when it happens, you just figure it out. Like when we had our second, I know a lot of people are weird of like, I want 3 or 4 days alone with the newborn and then the sister can meet the baby. I was just like, bring in Emma. I want her to meet her sister now. Like, she was at the hospital the day, the morning after that we had her sister Ellie. And I don't know. I feel like it was scarier in my mind, but when it happens, it just like made sense. Like, it wasn't, yes, it comes with challenges. It's hard, but you just figure it out. And it's just like, as a parent, you just figure it out. And you know that, like, you can say, hey, what did you do? And get advice from somebody. And then your kid ends up being completely different. So you have to figure it out anyways. I always tell people, I'm like, there's not a TikTok, there's not an Instagram reel, there's not a book, there's not a study guide of how to raise your kid, because your kid is going to be different from all those other people that are, on Instagram or in a book teaching you how to make your baby sleep better, like all the things. I'm like, your kid's just different. And like, what's best for your kids to do that. But the jump from 1 to 2 for me wasn't as scary as I thought it would be, because I was really like, oh, how are we going to do this? And you truly just figure it out. And then having a bigger, sister, her sister is the best. Now she can like help out. I'm like, hey, go get me a diaper for Sissy. And she runs and she gets it and she brings it to you. So it's like, you have a little helper, and it's just like, and now we're kind of in the mindset of like, what's one more kid? So now we're having baby number 3. So we're like, what's one more kid? Maybe we'll have a 4th. We don't know. So we're just kind of like, you just go with the flow. But I don't know, like, was it tough? Yes, in ways, because of, like you said, time and priorities and things like that. But like, you just figure it out, honestly.
I honestly, I applaud you, because you're right. It can be a jump for sure. But I think at the end of the day, like, moms, one thing about us is that we will figure it out.
That's right.
And I love that you brought me to the hospital. Oh, every time. Yeah. Every time. Yeah. No, never fails. I love that. So, we kind of were mentioning earlier, like, with motherhood, really filling our cups and really being obviously like our whole lives. But do you ever struggle with the tension just because of, the industry that we're in, or just anything else that you might, like, your own passions? But do you ever struggle with like wanting to be present at home, but then like wanting to still pursue your career or like the big dreams? Like, I know the industry that we're in really does allow a lot of really cool opportunities, right? Do you ever feel torn where it's like, hey, do you want to go to the Country Music Awards tonight, or do you want to, stay home and have a movie night with the girls,
Yeah, no, totally. I think that like early on when I had Emma, I think with my first, it was definitely one of those things where it was kind of like a tug of war. I was just like, I would rather be home, but I do need to go do this for work and stuff like that. With my second, I think it was a little bit different, because I started to draw just like this healthy boundary of like, there's like some non-negotiables, like, no, I'm not working that on her birthday, or like, no, I'm not doing that. We have a family trip planned, or like things like that, and not being afraid for that. But then also my husband is like the best dad ever. Like, some spouses are just like, no, that's the mom's job. Like, they can do that. Like, I could leave my husband with my kids for a week by himself and he would flourish. He would just be so great. So it's just like, he allows me to still have those work opportunities to where I'm like, I really want to do this, but I don't want, you have that mom guilt where you're like, I don't want to miss being home like this weekend, but it's just like taking it like case by case. Like, yes, I do want to do this. If it makes sense, I will go do it. And my husband always champions me. He's like, go, I got the kids. Like, go have fun. Go do your job. Go be the best that you can be. You're the best at this. He's such a cheerleader. So I think having him as just like such a rock, like at home, really helps me be able to like kind of set that boundary and like be able to do what I want to do, but then also like not have to worry about like that mom guilt. He'll be like, stop. Don't have any of that mom guilt. Like, I got this. You're good. So I think it's having a support system definitely helps that too.
100% agree. Oh, that's a good man, Savannah. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me really happy. No, I mean, a spouse will really, I truly believe, I might get, whatever, like people might come for me for this, but I truly believe that a supportive, good spouse really does change your motherhood experience. You know 100%. What I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's something I forever will die on. So I love that. Oh, he reminds me of my husband. I kind of love it.
Yeah. It's just the best. Like, it's like in what we do, like, it's a very intimidating industry where it's like, if you say no to this opportunity is going to go to somebody else. And you're like, so selfishly, you're like, I want this for myself. But then also, like, I feel like I'm such a team player where I'm like, you know what? Have so-and-so do it because I think that they'll crush it. I've got something to do this weekend. Like, let's do this. But it's having a supportive husband at home or spouse at home is like the best, because truly, like we can't do this ourselves. Like you cannot be in an industry like we are that's so demanding with our time and not have somebody at home that can just like clean up when you need to clean up, take the kids when they need, get the kids to sleep, get the kids a bath, like all the things. There's so many things that you have to take care of as a mom that you're just like, nope, he's got it. We're good. Like I can go do this thing. No problem.
100%. 100%. What do you hope that your girls learn from watching you like pursue your dreams, right? Like the industry that we're in again is it is a dream come true, and you've worked so hard, and that's why I love seeing you as a mom in this role. I love seeing women in media who are moms because I know what it took to get here, and truthfully, and I'm going to be so honest, what it took to stay here, especially post babies, post kids. Let's be so for real right now. So what do you hope that your girls your girls kind of learn from you, right? Just watching you kind of still pursue this.
I think I just want them to like just be happy. Like I don't ever want them to. So many people will give up. I remember having a conversation with somebody kind of early on in my radio career where they were like, "Are you cool with not having a family?" And I was like, "What?" Like, no,
really?
What? And it was just like, this is going to be a taxing job. Like, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, you can't do both. And I'm just like, okay. And then same in like the music industry. Like I've got several artist friends and like, they are like the pressure of being a female in the music industry and like having a baby is going to ruin your career because you're going to have to take time off the road and you're going to be able to do this and that. And I'm just like, I just want my girls to know that they could do both. Like you can still pursue a dream, but you can also be a mother and like be at home. I think there's this weird stigma in life where you have to choose your career or you have to choose family. Like you have to like be able to one or the other. And I think that it's so maybe even just like within the last couple of years, I feel like so many people are proving that theory wrong, that you can do both and you can flourish and still do both. I don't want them to settle. Like, I just want them to be happy, pursue their dreams, do what they want to do. And also like be a kick booty mom, I want you to like be a really good mom. It's funny because my daughter Emma, even to this day, will say like, I want to be a mommy when I grow up. I can't wait to have babies. And I'm like, yes, I can't wait to have babies too. And it's just so sweet because I don't know. I want them to learn that like hard work is great, but also like you don't have to strive. I don't ever want my girls to like feel like they have to strive to like get to some proverbial finish line. I want them to draw that finish line themselves and like them define their success.
Yes. No, I couldn't agree more. I want that same for like my daughter. I'm like, I want her to follow her dreams and to show her like, you can do what you set your mind to. You can like live out your dreams, but you're right. I don't ever want her, like, she doesn't have to choose whether it is a family or not. I don't know if she's going to want a family. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, but whatever it is, it's like, I feel like you truly can have the things you want, just like anything else. I always say like, it's the same. I know it's like a metaphor or whatever, but it's like, having your cake and eating it too. Like, I'm not going to eat the whole cake because I will blow up if I do, but like I will have a piece of cake because that fulfills me in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a slice, okay?
Give me my slice. That's it.
Yes.
Like I'm not trying to have it all. Like I just want my slice because that's making me happy right now. Like,
exactly.
Yes, I would love that whole cake. It's not going to happen. I am no fool. It's like, It's going to make me actually probably vomit, I'm like, eat a whole cake.
Yeah.
No, I love it. So I kind of wanted to dive into your faith a little bit because you're so vocal about it. And that's something that I love and admire about you as well. But it seems like it does play a really big role in your life. So was there like a defining moment that strengthened with God, or was it sort of just something that kind of has always been?
I feel like I did. I grew up in church. So we grew up going to church like when I was little, and it was, I got baptized, I think when I was in like the 4th grade, and like, it was always a thing that we did. It was never, I feel like, a priority like it is for me now. But it was just, it was just always there. I think the seed was planted when I was little. And then when I became an adult and went to college, it wasn't a priority for me. I would go to church here and there. I was a part of like Fellowship of Christian Athletes in college. And just, there were certain things that like were a part of my like faith journey. But it was never like a priority, if you will. So moving around a bunch of different states, working in radio, it really just kind of fell further and further down my list of priorities. And I just didn't really, I guess, steward it. And then I remember when I was living out in LA working for Radio Disney was probably when it was like the furthest away from me. And it was funny because this guy that I work with, his name is Gabe Lenners, who doesn't have any idea that he's part of my testimony to this day, but he kept asking me to go to church with him. He was like, I go to this church on Wednesday nights. You should come. And he would invite everybody at work. He'd be like, everybody should come. Like, you guys like come to my church. And with the industry that we worked in, like Saturdays and Sundays, like we're always movie premiere, movie junkets. Like we were working all day Saturdays and Sundays. So like going to actual church on a Sunday was just like not something that I ever could do because we always had something on the schedule. So one Wednesday night, I was just like, okay, let's go. And at this point in my life, I was really like, I was just kind of sad. I was depressed. I was not sure if I wanted to stay in LA. I was like, I have this dream job where I'm like interviewing all these crazy celebrities. I have an interview in the studio every single day. I'm on Disney Channel. I'm full, I'm around all of these like full on like actresses and actors and like huge superstars. And I'm like, it was just so stressful. Like it was the most stressful work environment I've ever been in, and it wasn't a bad thing. It was just new for me because I wasn't used to it. And so working so much and working 7 days a week pretty much and like not really having a social life. And the social life I did have was friends at work. It wasn't like I didn't have like a community of like really close friends. All of those close friends were people I saw every day at work. And then we hung out after work. And like to this day, like still love them. We are all still friends, but it was like just never turned off. It was like work, 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 work all the time. And then when we were hanging out after work, we were talking about work or complaining about how much we were working. And it was just like this constant work situation. So one Wednesday night, me and one of my roommates, we were just like, let's go to church. And we did. And we went to this church. And I remember walking in, and it was during worship. I like heard an audible voice say like, quit your job. And I was just like, what? So I'm like in listening to the worship music, and I'm just like kind of wrecked, like crying, like, okay, God, like you want me to quit my job? Okay, well then what next? Like, where am I supposed to go? And I still at this point had like over a year left on my contract. And like in the industry, your contract is like, unless the company wants out of your contract, you're not getting out of it. Like, it's just kind of like, it has to be a mutual thing. Mm-hmm. So I go into this, I just like leave that, and I'm like, okay. I call my mom and I talk to my mom about it, and she's like, you're crazy. You're making over 6 figures. You're living the dream. You are all over everything. Like you're having some crazy success. There's no chance that you can quit your job. And of course, like you want to listen to your mom. So I'm like, okay. And, all my family, like friends, everybody's like, you're crazy. Why would you ever quit your job? This is nuts. Like, this is where you're going to grow the most. But I just remember like after that, like I was crying at work every day. Like I would call my mom after work crying just because of how overwhelmed I was. I was like, this is just too much. Like I don't ever get to turn off. I'm living in this city where everybody's trying to be somebody, and nobody wants to be friends with you unless you can offer them something. It was like, hey, what's your name? Oh, you work for Disney? Cool. So can you get me into the parks for free? And it was just like always the same conversation over and over again. So anyway, fast forward, I like quit my job, and I went into my boss's office, and I was just like crying, and I was like, Phil, like I got to go. Like I can't do this. And he looked at me and he was just like, he has daughters. And he was like, if you're not happy here, like you can leave. Like you tell me what day you want your contract to end. We'll put an addendum in there and like we'll make this happen. And he was so supportive. He was just like, I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here. He was like, you figure this out and you tell me when you want to leave, and like we'll work this out for you. And I was just like, and in this industry, like that does not happen.
No,
like,
I'm surprised to even hear this. Yeah.
So it was just like this crazy like thing of events. And from that moment of like hearing from the Holy Spirit and like actually saying yes, I feel like everything just fell into place. Like I moved back to Indiana, got a job at my old radio station. 2 months later, Chicago calls and is like, hey, we have this job opportunity in Chicago. You've got to come. I drive up, I call in sick on a Friday at work, and I drive up to Chicago from Indiana, and I come back with a job offer. And I packed up my car and moved to Chicago 2 weeks later. So I was literally in Indiana for like 2 or 3 months. then moved to Chicago and like met my husband at church in Chicago. And we moved down to Nashville after we got married. We've had 2 babies, third on the way. And it's just like all of this stuff lined up to me where it was like, none of this makes sense without God. And like the way that he like orchestrated it all and ordained it all, I was just like, I could not have gotten from LA to Indiana to Chicago to my husband. Like it just all, the way it all played out. That moment, hearing the Lord tell me to quit my job in LA was the moment that like my relationship with God became like my own, like my real relationship with him. Because before it was like, you know, my parents told me about this and we would go to church, but then like experiencing that for myself, I think is really when my relationship with him changed, because it was like, this is my choice now. This is like what I decided to do. So yeah, that's in long story short, or short story long.
I love it.
That's when it became real for me.
That is incredible. So when it comes to like even parenting, I'm curious, like how has your faith sort of influenced the way that you parent the girls? Like, do you guys pray together? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, we do every single night right before bed. And it's the biggest, I think, job that as a parent we have is to steward their faith and to make it a priority. Praying with them is the sweetest thing. Hearing them talk about Jesus, like my 2-year-old, she's not 2 yet. She turns 2 in August and she already knows the lyrics for Jesus Loves Me. You know, it's just like,
so does my daughter.
Yeah.
So cute. And I'll hear her just sing it. And I'm like, yes. She's singing and I hear her. Yeah.
And I think like, I don't ever want it to not be a priority for us. You know, I want that to be something that we continually like talk about daily. And you know, like we lost a pregnancy last December and like explaining to my daughter Emma, like what happened and like, you know, the baby's in heaven and she'll ask, when is baby coming back from heaven? And you're just like trying to like explaining those things to her. And it's just like, it really makes your relationship like with God more, like even more real, because you realize like the love of a parent and like how much we love our kid. How much does God love us more than that? You know what I mean? So like really kind of having that understanding of his love for us now in a tangible way of being a parent, you're like, okay, this is crazy how much he loves us, you know? So it's a huge part of our, you know, our daily walk. Like we want to teach them about Jesus. We have them in, you know, we have them in church on Sunday mornings. They go to their little Sunday school class and all the things. And it's definitely a huge priority for us. Yeah.
What would you say to a mom, right, who might be feeling like she's losing her faith because it could be for a variety of reasons, right? It could be something with, like you mentioned, right, having a miscarriage, which I also had one 2.5, 3 years ago. So 100% can relate to that. Or maybe a mom whose her marriage is falling apart, right? Or, you know, even something like with her own child is happening, right? I feel like everyone, especially mothers, I mean, we go through so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you know, curious, what's something that you would tell a mom, right, who feels like she's losing her faith?
I feel like I would just say, don't stop praying. I feel like we all have those prayers in our lives that like you've been praying for over and over and over again. And you're like, are you even listening to me? You know, and like, whether it's praying for a family member to become sober, or praying for a family member to meet the Lord, or praying for, you know, fertility or whatever it is. And it's just like over and over and over again. And you just like, you keep feeling disappointed or you feel like he's not listening. Like, just don't stop praying. Like that's, if you're not praying, who is? You know what I mean? Like who's praying for that or who's interceding for that moment? So I would just say like, don't stop praying. Like, don't give up. I feel like a lot of our life is a faith test, right? Like it's not a like, is it going to happen? You know, is it right or wrong? Whatever. But like, it's a faith test. Like keep believing for it. And if it's meant, if it's part of his will, like it'll happen. But also just like, don't get discouraged, because like there are prayers that don't get answered. And sometimes those are really big blessings. Like I know that so many times I've prayed for a certain thing, or like, Lord, this is my husband. Like, tell him to get down on one knee, give me a ring. And like, I'm so grateful that he never did. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is the life that I was meant to live. So it's like realizing that, you know, the prayers that you're praying are important and God is listening to you, but sometimes it's a no, and that's okay. But it does sometimes take a long time to figure that out, or at least a little while to figure that out. But then you look back and you're like, thank God he didn't answer that prayer, because if he did, I would have been that girl that got cheated on. You know what I mean? Like all these things. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many things in life where you do get discouraged and you do, you feel like you're losing your faith, but also surround yourself with people who like will pray for you and intercede for you. I always tell my best friends, I'm like, if you do not have faith today, you can have some of mine. Like you don't have to have it all together. Like you can have some of mine, or if you can't pray right now, like I'm going to pray for you. So having that community in your life that will go to bat for you when you are in those moments, I think is so like, it's important because you can't pull yourself out of the pit sometimes. You sometimes need other people to kind of like put the ladder down and like help you, climb out. So having that community around you, I would really encourage people to meet people at church, get a small group, whatever it is, some of your friends, like don't be afraid to pray together, because some of those moments are some of the biggest moments where I've seen breakthrough in my life is just praying with some of my best friends. Like, hey, let's like all believe in this together. And yeah, I think that's important.
I love it. That is so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I hope that reached someone who needed to hear it today, especially.
Same.
Oh, I love it. Brooke, before we go, what do you feel is in the plan? I know we say, what is that saying? Like we make plans and God laughs. I don't want to make tiny plans, but what do you see for yourself the next couple of years? I mean, work-wise, family-wise, what do you see for yourself?
Well, hopefully come November, another beautiful, healthy little girl. I don't know after that. Like, I don't know. We've talked about having a fourth, but if God willing, that will happen too. We'll see. But I started my podcast, the upload last November, and it's just where we just have really encouraging conversations all about faith. So we just kind of have people from all walks of life. One of my biggest things like in the music industry is we get in front of these microphones and we ask the same questions over and over again. Talk to me about your newest song. What's it about? Where did it come from? What are you up to this week? Like that kind of stuff. It's just like the same kind of like orchestrated interview of like, tell me about this new music, which is fine. Like that's cool to have those conversations. But I wanted to have a space where an artist who's used to being on stage can kind of like be in the crowd with us and like have a normal conversation about where they're at, like what they're going through, what they're learning from the Lord, like what, what tragedy happened in their life that pushed them closer to God, or like even in the music industry period, like it's a dog eat dog world out here. Like what is discouraging you in the world right now that we can pray for you about and stuff like that. So we just have these really cool, honest, real conversations about their faith and their testimony that they're walking in right now and what they're learning and stuff. So I just hope that grows, and I hope it just falls on ears that need to hear it. And hopefully having some live events to, have like worship nights and stuff like that. We've talked about worship and prayer nights, like with our podcast, and I don't know. I just want that to grow because it's one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my like 15 years of radio. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But God willing, we'll see what he has in store.
That's right. I love it. Well, Brooke, thank you for taking the time to come on today, Mommy Collective. We appreciate you. Where can we follow you on social?
Everywhere you can find me, Brooke Radio, on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, whatever you got, I'm there. I'm everywhere. Yep.
All of them. And the name of your podcast too, one more time.
It's called The Upload with Brooke Taylor.
Perfect. I'm going to link all this too in the show notes. So, Perfect. Brooke, you are the best. I appreciate you.